In a recent thread on social media, a teacher asked, "How do you make teaching CVC words and blends more mature for third graders? I'm using a phonics curriculum and the kids looked at me like I was losing my mind this morning." One even said, "We're not in kindergarten, but they can't read the words in text, so they need it." The struggle here is real. When we introduce three-letter words to older students, it can be a problem. Many children do think they're babyish, even though they can't read them. For children with dyslexia or language processing disorders, these simple-looking words can actually be some of the most difficult to learn. In my clinical practice, I've worked with children who take much longer to reach automaticity with three-letter words compared to longer, more complex words. Interestingly, once my students could read more common three-letter words, many still struggled with words outside of their oral vocabulary. They could work through more complex words by analyzing them and finding the base, but when faced with unfamiliar three-letter words, they'd freeze. Why? Because these words are made of only phonology, the most abstract piece of orthography. There's nothing concrete to hold on to, and feeling phonemes in words is often their biggest deficit area. We are misguided if we begin with a phonics drill of three-letter words with dyslexic children. It's a good thing we have a better way to begin that is more effective and respectful. Rather than punching them in their wound, we can capitalize on their strengths. Let's explore how we can make working with three-letter words more effective, interesting, and respectful for our older students who have not yet mastered them. Take bag, for example. All that's there is b, a, g. It's not much. And for learners with phonological processing issues, sounding it out is incredibly frustrating or impossible. So what can we do? Instead of focusing on phonics drills, introduce word families that share a base early on. Give children something they can succeed with, something meaningful. You might have heard of the word bag activity that introduces young learners to the concept of word families. When they're ready, that can be expanded to using word sums and matrices. Let's start by taking a look at the word bag. We can create word sums. BAG plus ING is rewritten as BAGGING, bagging. BAG plus ED is rewritten as BAGGED, bagged. BAG plus S is rewritten as BAGS, bags. BAG plus ER is rewritten as BAGGER, bagger. BAG plus AGE is rewritten as BAGGAGE, baggage. This gives students a chance to see how words grow and change, and they gain confidence as they succeed in recognizing these patterns. We can introduce the concept of doubling as well. Believe it or not, struggling learners enjoy learning to double. It has a procedure that is always true, and therefore they can master it more easily. Teaching words in their family from the very beginning also offers the opportunity to target receptive and expressive language using these relatives in sentences. After that, writing and grammar can be incorporated as you write a sentence for each and talk about what the word is doing in each sentence. Now, you might be thinking, but aren't three-letter words fundamental? Yes, they are. But that doesn't mean breaking them down into phonics alone is the right approach. Modeling grapheme-phoneme correspondences, or GPC, without expecting independence at first can ease the frustration. The goal is not perfection right away, but progress over time. And let's be clear, there's no such thing as grade-level words. Children learn to read and spell the words they already know and use. Dyslexic learners in particular may find complex words easier to decode than simple ones. The key is context and meaning. So let's stop chopping words into nonsense syllables. If a child can't read fan, throwing fantastic at them isn't going to help. It's just more of what they can't do. When we reduce words to chopped up nonsense syllables like basic, we hide the true structure and meaning of the word BASE plus IC is rewritten as BASIC, basic. When we give them a longer word with the same letter string, we aren't helping. Fan and fantastic aren't even related. They just happen to share a string of letters. Take a look how the word family actually works. Fan, fanning, fanned, fans. Those are related. But fantasy, fantastic, and fancy come from a different word family entirely. This is why it's critical not to confuse learners by focusing on letter strings. Staying at the surface of words and leading with pronunciation is setting students up for greater confusion later when you teach the morphemes. If you lead with the actual structure from the very beginning, no unlearning will have to take place later. Now let's talk about what we should avoid saying. First, never say, "When you show me you can do it, we'll move on." This is both cruel and punishing. It strips away hope and leaves children feeling stuck, often for years, on tasks they struggle with. If something isn't working after 2 or 3 years, it's not the child's fault, it's the teaching. And please don't say, "It's easy." What's easy for one person isn't necessarily easy for another. Reading 3-letter words does not make it easier for dyslexic students to read longer words. In fact, for them, it can be the opposite. I've worked with children who were sent to behavioral schools, who became violent in class or shut down completely. When I met them, I promised I'd never ask them to sound out a word again. I told them they could control their learning and that I would help them see just how smart they really are. I kept my promise every time, and they all learned to read and spell with the right amount of time and frequency. It's time to elevate literacy instruction to focus on accuracy, engagement, and most importantly, respect for struggling learners. Together, we can create a future where all students succeed, no matter how they learn. Let's make literacy instruction engaging, meaningful, and respectful, because every child deserves to thrive.